The audio is a bit loud. Still trying to figure things out. As of now, this is what the weather looks like in Kansas City. It is 1 in the morning. I'm here on Broadway. I'll get over here in a second. I'll show what the radar looks like instead of having it on an inset. And I can pull it up this way. And you can see it's just about to start. We have had some rain earlier, but nothing to write home about. It's supposed to be light, and I'm going to be in Storm Tracker later on. So that's what I'm doing. I'm heading over to load up in Storm Tracker, and I got this camera not very well mounted. It's bouncing all over the place. I missed my $5 camera. It's still down. I haven't had the opportunity to look at it. See if I can find somebody who's decent at soldering, which I'm not, to fix it. Because I know what the problem is. Anyway, heading into Westport here. You can see what's what. So far, unfortunately, there's a lot of poor indigent people walking around. I would not want to be walking around. Well, what's the weather? Outside it says 40 degrees. My car thermometer, I don't know what the temperature is actual. It's probably closer to 35. Still pretty darn cold. And I imagine unless something drastic happens when the weather comes in, it'll get closer to freezing. I'm still affected by my voice. Westport on a Thursday night is usually starting to ramp up for the weekend. The most part, Friday morning is when it really gets hopping. But nothing like the weekend. I mean, there's a few more cars here than we would expect on a weekday night when it's cold and weather is coming in.
We were given Nora Shaw, L-E-N.
On really busy nights, this parking lot here is full. There's cars, and it's hard to get down this. This is Mill Street. It's hard to get down here because people will be so considerate and basically park their car in their street so they can carry on conversations. Because they're essentially challenging everyone to say something about it or do something about it.
And 183.
That's how Westport ends up being such a great place to come.
314 post 7.
I used to come here in the 80s, transitioning from high school to college, but I quit coming here. Not much here, really. There's a few things that were attractive to me when there were, how would you say, neighborhood type things, like a couple of record stores on the west side, Groove Farm and Spiny Norman. And Groove Farm, I got to know the people that ran that place, that owned it, and they really like to host a lot of shows, local bands playing there. think they would do it once or twice a month. We had a lot of record release parties. And then,
25 plate comes back.
not to diminish it, but on the east side of Westport here, and right through here in this part of Westport, where there was always places to go shop.
Kaltenmeyer.
And I remember when there was a good record store here, but it moved and then went out of business. But I also remember Recycled Sounds here at the end of Westport, and they would do record release parties of local bands. And upstairs of
103,
Recycled Sounds, oh, let's see what we got here. If they block the road,
52, 103,
who knows? This changes daily.
43.
I don't know what this is. It's crazy. But upstairs used to be a place called, what was it called?
Needing a more
I should know.
fire for a female chest pain.
Harling's upstairs.
80s already on scene.
And they had run shows forever and ever and ever. It was kind of a place for a lot of local bands to go play. And they always had I know at least on Friday nights in the afternoons and early evening, they had a jazz blues show that it's kind of a fixture for Westport.
No one was home.
And then there were some other clubs I used to go to until it got tiresome. Like the Lone Star would do a lot of rock, heavy metal bands. And across from there was a place that used to be called London's and then became what was the name of that? Well, there was the Hurricane, of course, and then it became the Riot Room. And London's, I forget what it became, but they put on shows. Then eventually they devolved into doing nothing but metal music. They used to do a lot of local bands, and a lot of people went there and saw a lot of their favorite bands, big bands, when they were still doing their club circuits. Anyway, weather still is not hit yet, and I'm reminiscing and rambling on and being boorish as usual, so I'm going to put this at an end, because it's going to take a long time to render this to put it into my editor. So, woo-hoo! It's snowing. Woo-hoo! Coming down pretty good now. It's accumulating pretty good too. All of that is accumulated in like the past 10 minutes or so. Crazy. Little tiny head on a big body. So we spent the entire morning live at the scene of a triple shooting, single homicide. 2 other people in critical condition. The snow stopped pretty quickly, so that wasn't much. And but it was pretty though. And now I'm gonna get some coffee. Coffee and a donut. Coffee. And a donut.